What's a game that you wanted to like with every fiber of your being? You were like, this game is my kind of game. It looks awesome. It has everything in it that I think is going to be cool. And then you play it and it's just got one or two game mechanics that you're like, why the hell would you put this in the game? And then you're completely turned off from playing it and you never come back to it ever again. For me, that game is Outward. I played this years ago after seeing so many posts on Reddit about like, oh, you should play this game. It's fantastic. It's kind of punishing, but it's fun. And so I was like, all right, cool. I got it on sale on Steam for like $1, whatever it was. There is a mechanic in this game where when you die, you are heavily punished for death and you can lose all your items, all your gear. It's like, it's clunky as shit anyways. There's very, very limited fast travel. So you're walking all over this world. And while this is probably a great game for some people, I feel like the developers just missed the mark a little bit and it could have been just a little bit more player friendly than it was. With all that said, if Outward 2 is good, I'll play it. What's a game that you were absolutely certain you were going to hate? You saw reviews, they looked dumb, you read some posts online, you were like, that sounds stupid, I'm not going to like that game. And then you played it and it completely blew you away and became one of your favorite titles ever. You guys had a lot of answers in the last video that I posted where the question was, what's a game that you thought you were gonna like, but then it just did something wrong and you didn't like it for whatever reason. But as fun as it can be to be negative and to just kind of like voice your complaints about something, it's also important to spend as much time doing the opposite. And so let's be more positive and optimistic within this video and talk about a game that completely surprised you and maybe kind of forced you to change how much you assume things based on trailers and reviews. I've got two games that fall into this category for me. The first is Portal, the original Portal that came on the orange box collector set with Half-Life and Team Fortress. And I had seen some posts on Reddit about it, but I was like, I don't want to play some like puzzle game or whatever. It looks dumb. I don't like that kind of stuff. And I didn't have anything to do one night. And so I was like, all right, whatever, I'll play it. And then it got towards the end of the game and everything changed. And if you've played Portal, you know what happens there. And it hooked me right in. I was completely wrong about this. This is fantastic. And it became one of my favorites. The other game is Rust. And maybe I just played Rust a bit too early in its development cycle because I bought the game in like 2016 and I played it a bit and I didn't like it. I didn't have any fun, but I played it for like maybe an hour and I just wasn't in the right headspace probably. And years later, this was in COVID, some friends were like, we're gonna play Rust, you should play Rust with us. And I'm like, guys, I already know everything about Rust and I don't like it. And they kept pestering me. And then finally I played it and I have never obsessed over a game like I did with Rust during COVID. I was so obsessed with my farm and my berries because I was like making these teas and selling these teas. I'd like wake up in a cold sweat at like 6 a.m. like, my farm, is my farm okay? And I'd log on real quick. I'm like, was I rated? And I was fine. That game had a grip on me like nothing else I've ever experienced. And if you've gone through the Rust obsession loop, then you know what I'm talking about. I didn't even care for PvP. I just wanted to go and like build bases and do all of the cool electrical stuff that you can do and have a farm. I was so obsessed with that. And if I had never gotten back into it, I would still have that perspective of, nah, Rust is stupid. I've already played Rust. I know what it is. It's dumb.